not a demo. This is just a MIDI I found. Yeah, someone made this. It says here, channel Grub. What Redbox would sound like is thousands of MIDI notes. Sounds really good. Vincent, what are you doing today? Well, I'll tell you what I was going to do, and then I decided against it. So I'm not really going to be showing you any demos, maybe like one or two. I was going to go in depth, track by track, like for both albums, but I don't think I want to do that just yet. I think I want to wait. I think I'm going to hold off on that for like the future. But I would like to. I actually need your help, listeners and viewers. I am going to need your help with something. And I was really like deciding, no, it's all, you don't have to sweat, Frog. I was really not sure if I wanted to do this. But I think it will be best. And I'll tell you why. Because the album is already out, both of them, and you can listen to them, and you've seen them, and you've seen the videos. So, at some point during this discussion, I'm going to need your help figuring out a cover for the vinyl. That's basically what this is. And the reason I'm bringing this to you is because this has been a tough decision. There's a lot of good options, and I feel like I've really hit like a mental block about this. And I'm getting like a lot of different opinions from friends and the band, and I just don't really know what to do. So I figured, yeah, the chat council might be good. That, and I'll also go through some stuff, maybe like describe a little bit of, you know, if you have like a question or two. I'm not going to turn this into like a long stream, and truthfully, I don't want to explain everything just yet, or like, I don't really talk about my lyrics anyway, but what I can say is I'm going to go through some of the stuff quickly, and then I'll show you some cover ideas. But yeah, this MIDI is actually really good. I've heard MIDI like versions of our songs where it's just not even in the right key. I mean, we don't release tabs. I'll tell you what, people sometimes ask for like tabs of guitar and bass, or like sheet music, and the problem is we don't put that, we don't publish that, because we don't ever really write it down. Like, I actually have to legitimately try hard to remember some of my stuff. I've actually, at this point, for some of the new stuff, I have like a notepad, and I have the starting chord, and usually that like helps, because if I can get that starting chord, it you know, can like kind of sometimes bring me to what I need to know. Sometimes some of them I have like 4 or 5 chords, because I usually do some weird ones. I got a song coming up that has like a number of weird chords that I've never done before, so I am the forgetter in some ways. But I'll tell you what, before we do the cover, I just want to say real quick, this is a random thing. I know I don't usually do this. You don't ever really see that much activity on this channel. But I will say also, hi, Chuck. Chuck is here, everybody. You did a very good job, Chuck. Thank you. Me and Chuck are going to be doing a little bit more collaboration on one of his projects that I think you'll find interesting when that time comes. But I'll tell you what, guys. Chuck Salmon is a really nice and talented musician, and you should check out his work. Specifically, Moon Age Lobotomy as a good intro, I think, to his work. But yeah, so thank you, Chuck, for like actually helping us out, doing a little guest appearance. But yeah, I don't usually just show up here and talk about the music, and I don't want to like spoil the fun of it, because it's supposed to be something. Like, I've seen Alex Turner from the Arctic Monkeys do interviews where he just explains every song on the album, like right as the album came out. And while intent and lyrics are kind of important to me, I also realize that even if I explained every song, it wouldn't be as fun for like the listener to figure it out themselves. And even sometimes I don't really know what, what I'm talking about in a song until like it's done or, later. I know it sounds weird, but it just wouldn't be something I'd want to do. And again, I'm not Mr. Artiste, but I do put a lot of work into my lyrics. Sometimes a lyric just falls from the heavens, or, I'll be like dreaming of something weird and I'll get a line for a song. I'm like, where'd this come from? Sometimes it comes from the sewers. You don't know. You just have to kind of be open. I'll tell you what, before I begin showing you, I'm going to do a limited track by track, but I'm not going to do the full albums. At some point in the future, I might, where I just go through all of Visions and Afterthoughts, play the videos in their entirety, and just explain some of the recording process, maybe talk about the videos a little bit, maybe a little bit of the lyrics, but not much, and where the songs came from. I'm not going to do that now because I think it's too early for that. And truthfully, I just need a break from this fucking album. I'm like already thinking about the next 5 songs, 10 songs, whatever. But one day I'd like to do that because I think it would be fun to talk at least about the recording and where the things came from. But I will say sometimes, songs kind of take a long time and I don't know what they're about for a long time. I'll give you an example. Keep It Together. For those that noticed the Kerosene vibe, the beginning of that song was actually, I've had that since the end of Kerosene. And then we retooled it and worked on it. And I didn't have lyrics aside from "It's time to be extra cautious." That I had day one. Had nothing else. And I had so many rewrites until it finally felt right to me. So that was like years. But, that's the problem with intent. Like, I know people want to, part of being a musician is understanding that people interpret things differently. And I know that some people want to associate some of these songs with my own private life and personal life. But you'd be kind of surprised to know some of the songs were written 3 years ago. And it's just like, that's not gonna, some of the stuff doesn't apply. And also, I try to actually actively write stuff that doesn't necessarily apply to my own life, but is more general. And then, I find out later on, I read the lyrics, I'm like, oh, that was about me. But it happens. So anyway, here, I'll show you a couple things, and then I'm going to ask your help with the album cover. So first of all, thank you everybody who bought Afterthoughts. I think it was like top 4 on Bandcamp at one point. That was not expected. Yeah, it was up there like pretty recently, and it was right next to Pizza Tower. And that top 4 was really great. I mean, I'm glad people generally like the album. This song was kind of, I can explain this one a little bit, but essentially this song was like the beginning of the whole thing. I think I mentioned this previously, but it was originally, I thought the lyrics were going to be Visions of Avalon. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? But it fit the meter of the song. This one was from, like the main thing came from a dream. And I'm like, what does Avalon have to do with anything? And then I find out fucking the band Pond wrote a song called like Help Me Avalon. I'm like, all right, well, they're doing it. But I think I was just playing the song like on my guitar and just singing along to it. And then I got Visions and Afterthoughts. And that started the whole process of like starting this concept, which again, it's not a concept album, but I will tell you this, this song kind of ties into As Long As I Can Dream in an interesting way that I didn't expect. But this one, from me, the concept is this, and maybe this will help you kind of figure out without me telling you all of my lyrics. for me, the vision thing is like when you put so much effort into stuff in your life, or maybe like a vision of like what you want out of life or a creative thing. But what happens when you put so much of yourself into that thing, you leave other stuff behind. So that is what I got from that. And so I kind of, I mean, some of you pretty much figured that out. That's kind of my interpretation of it. But truthfully, I didn't start with the concept and then think to myself, oh, let me, write this around this. The truth is, once I had visions and afterthoughts, I thought about what does that mean and why does it apply to my life, and figured it out. This is a song that also was a little older that we ended up doing stuff with. I think this one was from probably just at the end of Realign. So, not too old, but... and then the video, like, I did the first video, Eagle did this one, and the idea was to keep the black, white, and red, and introduce, like, red for this video, and then from here, it's, like, more color. But I did the first video on this album, and then I did As Long As I Can Dream for the other one. Vinny ignoring chat. You goddamn right I am. Did you go into visions and afterthoughts with the intention of having them be connected? I mean, I'm not that... Honestly, if I had to write 20 songs around one concept, that would be... First of all, I'm not that talented. And second of all, I'm not really... I think that would be very limiting. And I also feel like the concept of visions and afterthoughts is so general that all of this stuff can just tie in if you apply a little brain. Vin, yes you are. Well, I'll tell you what. I can't write The Wall. I really, really don't. Thank you. You guys really want to blow up my ego, which is probably not good for my music, so I'm not going to accept it. But I don't think I have the drive or motivation to, do a huge double album, concept album. But I think that the general idea, they all work together pretty well if you just apply a little bit of thought into it. But yeah, Eagle did this video, and it's just driving footage that we jazzed up, and I think it makes for a pretty good little ambient visual. I mean, the videos, the concept was just like, let's do a couple, and then it turned into let's do all of them. And it was like, let's start with visualizer type stuff. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. And then by the time we got to Afterthoughts, it's like, here are these like really thought out or like a lot of effort, high effort videos. Some were more visualizer, but some of them were much more like intricate. Like Sphinx did an amazing job. You should check on Twitter the thread that Sphinx made about Jump the Gun. Like his process for that video was insane. And like even Zot putting all his energy into that one video for Playing by the Rules is insane as well. And it's like, I can't believe this. But yeah, Eagle, you did a great job with all this stuff too, especially because you set the tone of the videos from like the beginning. And we ended up getting a lot of really great stuff. So, especially for me, Sound You Make, and like the temple, I like this one too because it's crusty, and it's just like temple imagery. A lot of this temple imagery is not real temples, chat. That's a little spoiler. Also, this song was a little bit more Queens of the Stone Age, and it eventually became a little less, but it's still there. I mean, you can kind of hear it. Also, there was a weird drum thing that it didn't really work for us, so we tried it. We simplified it, and I was really happy. The original name of the song was Know By Now, and then when I started singing lyrics about temples, we changed the name of it. Because then I had a concept I was like, oh, I can write a song about this. Vinny, I think your GPU is dying. Oh man, I gotta get in touch with NVIDIA again. This sounds similar to Forgetter. Was that intentional? I don't really hear it, but I'm glad you do. No, not really. We just tend to, you know... Listen, there are some bands that have written the same song for 40 years. AC/DC. They write about their balls and the devil, right? But, yeah. So, no, this video is a lot of cool footage, a mix of footage between me and Eagle, and then with this filter, it just becomes vague enough that you can fill in the blanks. I like that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna really say too much more. I will say, though, this came from, if I'm not mistaken, I was just, sometimes I like to load up FL Studio, throw on an amp sim, plug in a guitar, and just play loud with headphones on, and this was that. And this was like probably 2.5 years ago, and then we tried to fuck with it together, and it ended up becoming a slightly different thing. But there's still stuff from that project file in this song. So, like a couple like lead guitar things, and a couple other sounds. I'll tell you what, there's actually the sound of an anvil. Like I looked up sound of anvil and put it to the beat. See if you can hear it. Also, if you listen closely, you're going to hear a metal pipe. For this song, we also used a different snare drum than we usually use, too. And I think Mike sounded really good on this one. But I wasn't crazy about the snare drum for a little while. Like, I wasn't... The problem I had with it was just too sharp. I don't know how to explain it. So we eventually, through mixing, got a sound I really liked. But we wanted that, like, snappy snare sound, and I was resistant until later. I'm not gonna go song by song, I swear to God, but Choke It on the Spikes is one that we're gonna be attempting to practice at some point. I do like this one. Again, Queens of the Stone Age. We put the two Queens of the Stone Age-y songs together, and I really like the chorus. There's a bass note on this one that Joe plays that is a little... It's like an inversion of what I'm playing, and that made the song for me. But this one was a jam song. We wrote this one in the studio. I just came up with the riff. Oh wait, no, hang on. Where'd that one come from? No, that was a dream again. The riff was a dream, and then we did it all together in the studio, and it turned into a different thing, a better thing. LSR. So I like the visuals for this song too. This one's cool. A lot of trippy, strange things going on here. If you know what it is, you know. But I will say, one of the big things that was fun for me was getting a 12-string. I got a Dan Electro, and the idea was we wanted to use it for a different song, and then I got the Dan Electro 12-string, and I started playing the opening riff to LSR, and essentially it turned into a thing. I thought it was too simple, and I was like, no, this can't be a song, it's too simple, but then it got some cool chorus stuff, and I liked it. But I'll tell you, Saturnine and LSR both kind of just fell out of the 12-string. So I'm glad I got that guitar, because it led to some interesting ones. Someone said, I'm curious about the Lord of the Rings references in this song. Well, I like Lord of the Rings, I like escapism, and I like, what song? Misty Mountain Hop and Ramble On. So, hope that helps. Also, Joe played the guitar solo on LSR. This one, sorry, There's a Place. I think I brought this riff in, and then we wrote the song around it. It's getting hard to remember these things. It's good that I talk about this now. One day you'll be able to buy the album at Target, but I don't think that's this day just yet. Winning the I love this video too. The Sphinx did a very interesting. This is Proto-Gongo. And this was like an attempt at like a television type song. And I was really happy with the way this one turned out. It's fun to play. And if we do live shows, again, don't expect a tour. Like, do not expect a tour. It would just be local shit. But if we ever do, this one would be fun to play. I like the lyrics on this one a lot. And I like Joe's bass line. And I like the little talking headsy guitar thing that I'm doing too. That one is like more songs about buildings and food, Talking Heads era. But also, again, television. What was this one? Where'd this come from? Another one I brought in, I think. I bring in a lot, and then I just say, hey, do you like this? And then sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But we can only really try to make the music for ourselves. There's a noodle pigeon in this that some of you are aware of. And I like that the footage is weird. It's fun. Sometimes a song is just supposed to be fun. But I think lyrically I did kind of this indecision thing, and I was just going for like a little jokey, but also it has its serious stuff too. The guitar solo I like on this too, and I don't remember. Again, it's hard to remember. Like, I can't believe this album was only a year and a half ago almost. Like, what, a year and 3 months ago or so? And I really don't even remember where this song came from. I think this was what started it, this part. The good chord. Whatever that chord is. I'd have to relearn how to play it. Well... people like this one. I like this one. I think it's one of my best. The band sounds great on it. I like the chorus. I like that there's a harmony in the chorus that's slightly divergent from, you know, there's two melody lines. I don't really want to listen to this right now, but I will say that the song is good. I need more time. But there's some Oasis-y stuff going on in here too. Like, I definitely took some Noel Gallagher guitar lines, the do-do-do-do, that. These. That. That was like my, what's the story, Morning Glory kind of thing. But yeah, I really, yep, the potato. What would you say Red Vox's crown jewel is? I like a lot of them. I think it's going to differ person to person, but Blood Bagel is the only real answer. I mean, some people would say Stranded. I don't disagree with that. That was probably our most, I think that one was the most amount of recording time and effort, so I like that. Also, Sphinx did a really great job with the visuals here, and then expanded this whole thing for Afterthoughts. So I'm really happy with the way the videos turned out overall. And there's a time... I have mixed feelings about the way this one turned out, but I'll tell you what I do like about it. I like the beauty in things being over and ending. I like that part of it. The video is appropriate, I think. There's a lot of interesting visuals here, especially this. I also like that there's... in the chorus, we skip, like, a measure. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not very musical in my wordage, but there is There's some interesting stuff happening here that I like, but this one was another one that I started at home, and I almost completed it fully, and then I brought it in and we made it better. Someone said I was afraid this was the last Red Vox song for like a week. That was intentional. It was like, yeah, we're gonna do a double album. Let's put this right in the middle. However, what I will say about this is, you can listen to Afterthoughts first, and then go to this. You can listen in pretty much any order, I think. Like, seriously, it works good. You can start with Afterthoughts and go to Visions. Like, that's the thing, is trying to figure out, and we'll talk about this when I mention the vinyl, but you can almost take these albums as their own thing, or you can combine them. And I feel like that's kind of what the point of the double album is. There's kind of like a mix of... There's stuff that sounds like Another Light on here, there's stuff that sounds like the first album, there's stuff that sounds like Kerosene, there's stuff that sounds like Realign. I might have said that twice. There's everything we've done up until this point, there's some shade of it on this double album. And then there's some stuff that we haven't done before, and some new stuff that maybe we're working on that is, you know, because we've tried to progress and try different things as a band because it would get boring otherwise. I'm not saying we've progressed to the point of like Kid A or anything like that, but we have tried to keep things interesting and different. And I feel like this double album, whether or not it works for you is one thing. I don't know. My favorite albums are like the White Album and Physical Graffiti and The Wall. Those albums are not perfect. There's a lot of different things and textures and types of songs on them. And I like a big, messy double album, as weird as that sounds. I don't know if we did that, but I think I'm pretty happy with the final result. And I think that there's a lot of good stuff to choose from on each side. But again, personal tastes, you know, people are going to choose their favorites or which side they like better. They like Afterthoughts better, Visions better. That's up to you. So I'll go through some of this quickly. We just showed this, and again, this is still too new, but oh, oops. But Eagle did this video, and this is some studio footage, including me actually playing the song. This was one of those days where it was just me and Joe at the studio, and this other dude, Joe, who's helped a little bit on some... He's there for, like, to learn some stuff, and I was like, hey, do you want to do something really weird and film me playing guitar? And he was like, okay. But, yeah, there's a lot of different types of analog, you know, stuff going on here that's basically studio footage, Prism studio footage. There's various things that end up being just this kind of visual mesh of whatever. I think it works for the song because the song's a little chaotic. This was one of those things where, again, I just sat down at the studio, played the riff, and I was like, there's no way I just came up with this, and it's good. It's not good. But Joe really liked it, and then we worked on it. This got a lot of mixes, and eventually was pretty happy with it. Pretty quick lyric writing, and I think it turned out pretty good, especially with Chuck's solo, which we chopped to shit and back, as I mentioned, and then we brought it back at the end. So, yeah, I think this is a good first track, whether you listen to Afterthoughts first or Visions first. But yeah, Chuck was saying, like, it's like he's trading solos with himself, which I really liked. That's kind of the intent, and it worked out. But yeah, this song ended up being a good starting track, and originally Jump the Gun was going to be the first track. But Joe was like, no, it should be this one. So I said, yeah, okay. Happy it turned out that way. I don't need to say too much more about this, but yeah, the melody came from a dream again, and Zot put so much effort into the video, and And we just spent a long time adding different little things. Like when you listen to this song, you'll hear lots of little things and new textures that like appear as the song progresses. And I think this one, I would say there's a direct lineage to Why Can't This Be Easy. What made you go against putting Me Oh Well into the final album? It was never intended for the album. It was always a B-side. We like the song, but it's kind of silly. I mean, the song is if you know the lyrics, especially for the stuff where it's almost inaudible, some people have figured it out. It's supposed to be like pity me, but also silly, like joke kind of song. It's not taking itself too seriously. I really like the song. I think it's got a good chorus, but also it didn't fit the mood of the album, in my opinion. And we just thought it would be a good thing to do because we have all these extra songs. Why not release an A-side, B-side? It was as simple as that. But I think ultimately it ended up being a good choice because I like the 10 songs that we put together on this one. And this is more like, if the first side of the album is kind of like a mix of Another Light and What Could Go Wrong, I would say the second side is more Realigning Kerosene. That's how I would almost like do the two eras of the band chopped up into the first and second half. And then also with a bunch of other little things in there that we haven't done before. So Almost a Stranger. This one, I started playing on guitar, and then I said, no, this is a good candidate. Same for In the Garden. Same thing happened. This is a good candidate to bring over to FL Studio and throw it into some synthesizers. Yes, that's an easy sentence to say. But this is the demo. So we used a bunch of this. Left ear is just like rattling. It's really similar. This is really similar. But no guitar in that version. So that's how that started. At some point, I'm going to release demos of a variety of things. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I'm going to compile demos from as much stuff as possible, and we'll release them. I don't know when, don't know where, but it'll happen. Sphinx did a really good job with this video too, and apparently some of this he did in 3D, and that's actually Sphinx's lips, everybody. Amazing. So yeah, I like this one too. I think that one... This one has quickly kind of risen to, from what I've seen, being one of our most popular. And I think it's because it's just got a chill kind of sound and vibe to it. But I'm glad people liked it, because that was a relatively... I would say Forgetter was the most recent song, and this was the second most recent for this album. So yeah, if you haven't seen the thread, definitely check it out, because Sphinx did some pretty crazy stuff. I thought he had all these masks, but no, he actually like painted them in very low quality and then just applied like technical fuckery. I don't know how it works, but it's amazing. And again, that's Sphinx and his friend playing, so it is not in fact me with new guitars. But it's like literal wizardry, and I've never seen anything like this before. So I'm really proud of the way this came out. I'll tell you what, this song, was one that I think I came up with right at the end of Visions, and I figured it would be kind of a fun thing to shadow drop symbolically, and also just to have a new song to say, hey, there's a new album coming out. But specifically, it's like, oh, we jumped the gun, there's another album. Dumb, I know. But the song has a nice groove to it, and I'm glad the master, I think, sounds great compared to the one we released. It's still good, but the master sounds better. And there's a gizzard kind of guitar thing I was going for the solo. I say solo, but also the whole melody line. But yeah, this is like a yeah, there's a, like I said, little gizzard kind of feel that I was going for. There's also a little bit of a Beatle thing happening, and I don't want to tell you exactly what, but there's a couple Beatle lyrics, Beatley lyrics in this one. And so yeah, I ended up kind of not loving this for a while, and then I came back to it when the full album came out, and then the video made the song even better for me. So I like it a lot more now. It seemed like you were doing stuff slightly different with your vocals on this album. Would you say that's accurate? Yeah, I'll tell you what. When I write a song in a key that doesn't fit my range, because I don't have the most range, I can do some falsetto stuff, but I don't want to just purely sing in falsetto. I have to figure out how to sing a song that I have never sung before, and I just have the idea of it in my head. This one in particular, I tried singing at a higher register, an octave up, and I didn't like the way it sounded, and it did not fit the mood of the song at all. Again, if you know, you know. It's a very important, heavy song for me, and I figured the best way to go about it, and me and Joe tried different things, and Joe agreed, keep it real whispery, keep it real low. I'm not crazy about the way I sang the choruses, but people said they liked it, and I'm glad you did. But I think it just depends on the song. You know, I'm not going out of my way to try different things. I'm always trying to be better. I don't practice, but I'm glad, again, people seem to think I have a good voice. So I just try to do the songs right. And I think for this song, yeah, as low as possible, and it worked, I think. This one was from home. I actually wrote this on keyboard. There's a texture you can barely hear. It's the first opening kind of sound. It's, when the music dips out, you can hear it more. You can barely hear it. It's a descending, like, kind of piano note. It was a synthesizer sound that I really liked, and that started the whole thing. I don't remember how I wrote the rest of the song. It was just, again, I brought it in demo form to Joe, and he was like, okay, this is really cool, let's work on it. And then when I figured out, it didn't take long to figure out what I thought the song was about, and I had to rewrite it because I didn't want it to be too obvious. And I was trying to figure out the right approach and also say the right things and how I really felt. And I'll tell you what, Sphinx, to me, nailed it with the video. If you're wondering why there's rockets here, I didn't know either, and then maybe I'll give it away here, but Sphinx and I discussed it, and he was like, well, the next song is Saturnine. It's like, you son of a bitch. There's another reason, too, which I will not reveal. There's another reason, but I think that is a pretty good one. This is the other 12-string song, and I don't want to, again, discuss all of the meaning here, but I will mention it was inspired by Dune, because I was reading Dune when I wrote this. And there's actually practical effects here. Like, what I mean by that is that's a snowbank that I filmed. And I then, like, kind of composited a background and color corrected it. A lot of this is just compositing, and also a program on Steam called Fluid Effects, I think, or like... It's called Fluids and Sounds. And I used Space Engine for the rest of the footage. And I don't know if it ended up working out as well as I hoped it would, but I think for kind of going for a mix of different styles visually, I'm glad it worked out. And there's a little bit of real footage too. But yeah, I like the way this one ended up like getting mixed and all the stuff in it. It's a little Zeppelin-y, and again, the 12 string. This was one of the first ones I wrote when I got the 12 string. And we also got another new snare drum for Mike for this one. So yeah. Space, the final frontier. Keep It Together, like I said earlier, was kind of a Kerosene thing. It was the end of Kerosene, and it's a weird one because it's like F, E flat, B flat. It's like a weird, vocally it's a weird jump, and falsetto ended up working for this. I'm just glad that I was able to more or less get the falsetto for it, because if I didn't, I could have, you know, easily just maybe abandoned the song. Apparently that's the same building from the temple, and for who this person is, no one knows. Eagle says this one was fun, but so stressful to shoot. Yeah, and no one knows who the person is at all. Crazy, right? But apparently Eagle had like a mental image of slow motion destruction, and so made it happen. To me, the song is kind of a little Paul McCartney-ish, with a little bit of Wish You Were Here era Floyd. And then it gets folky, and I was worried people wouldn't like it. And I know some people won't, but you know what? Some people did like it, and we liked it. I'm glad I went back and added... originally it was just acoustic. And I will say that the acoustic thing was good, but when I added the synths, it was better. Like, this is a Mellotron part right here, and it's a little over dramatic. You know, I was worried, is this like overwrought? But you know what? Why not? Why the fuck not? It's coming from a real place, so I said, let's just do it. And again, Joe liked it. And then we jammed on the end part for a bit, and we got the Keep It Together thing. For some reason, when I sang Keep It Together, and I listened back to it, I thought I sounded like Damon, like 2D. I was like, why do I sound like this? I think it's the way I'm saying together. I kind of couldn't help it. I think he and I do have a little bit of a similar range.
Keep it together. Gotta keep it together. Keep it together.
It's Forgetter. It was fun. We were jamming, and I just started playing the chorus. I don't know where it came from, and we just kept playing it. And then I went home to work on it, because Joe liked it. We liked the song. And so we probably delayed the album a little bit for this song. But I think it's a good single. I think it's catchy. And there's actually some meaning here. Even if it is a dumb alien video, there's 3 separate meanings to the song, in my opinion. And I was aware of all 3 when I wrote it. And yes, we know there was a Shutterstock. I told the video editor and my friend Jesse, who helped filmed it with me, well, he filmed it, and then, you know, I helped puppeteer, so to speak. I mean, Nortz was acting. I mean, he was acting. He was great. But, we are aware of the Shutterstock. We left it in on purpose. But yeah, we just followed Nortz around, and we said, hey, what do you want to do? And he was like, I don't know, I'm sad. And I was like, all right, man, well, we'll just film you. We'll go around Staten Island and see what happens. And then this motherfucker showed up. I don't know who this guy is. But here's the big plot twist. This alien has no ass. Would you take a forgetter? I said this when the song first released, but it sounds a little bit like an ad. You know, when it's too much, the time is up. And we thought that was kind of fun, and so we left it, and we worked that into the song. Yeah. Sound You Make is a song that I think this one came from a dream as well. Like, maybe... Yeah, it did. There was a melody that maybe a year ago-ish came from a dream. Woke up, realized it was in D, and then played a little bit. It's a simple song. It's not really... I mean, it's a lot of the D chord mixed with a B flat. And, yeah, it's supposed to be a bit of an encouragement. Because I think I can lean into some of the cynicism and nihilism a little too much sometimes, even if I'm not 100% that kind of person. And this is just some encouragement and maybe just to say, hey, listen, shit's hard, but you're needed and you can do a lot. So, I don't know, that's my thoughts on it. I guess I gave away the lyrics. I don't like to give away the lyrics, but that's some aspect of what it is, I think. There's more to it than that. You'll have to figure out the rest, but I do think the song worked out great because we wanted to start with like one instrument and then go all the way to a lot of instruments. And I mentioned this previously, but our friend Gerald, who's an amazing drummer, an amazing musician, brought his percussion in and played some like djembe and some other interesting things, including a park bench, and we just put it in the song. And then we had Mike come in at the end. Chuck is on this too, doing some of the guitar leads, and he had to play this to basically almost no other instruments other than the guitar. So he actually in some ways set the tone for some of the song. Not entirely, but it was a good way to, you know, take some of that. We actually shortened and cut out a bunch of stuff because the song in the beginning, there was like another bunch of measures, maybe another 40 seconds of just like noodling, and we realized it was too much, so we shortened it and we took the best of what Chuck did and we put that in the front. And then we just added things little by little, and then the song kind of ends with a lot of different instruments together, and that is the song. So happy with the way this turned out. Video is great, filmed by Eagle's friends and also edited by Eagle, and only partially filmed because I think Eagle filmed a bunch of this too at an interesting location and then put it through some filters. So I think when I saw the video I was like, oh shit, this is really good. Just great washed out visuals. They're like semi-psychedelic, but I mean they are, but they're not like brightly psychedelic. They're like a little bit more washed out, and I like that. So, I don't know, just thinking about the rain. I took, for this video, Zot was originally going to do this, but he wasn't feeling good. He worked through the video for Playing by the Rules with COVID. And he ended up, you know, having some other medical stuff, and he worked really, really hard filming and refilming and editing and learning new things to get Playing by the Rules right. And at some point he said, Vin, I don't know if I can do the other video. I said, okay. So I took it upon myself and I basically said, let me take everyone's footage that they didn't use and I'll see what I can do with it. And I just tried different effects and I put them together in whatever order felt right. And I don't know, it's kind of a mess, but I think it works. Really happy with some of the visuals. I think that's where we're going to talk about covers in a bit. A lot of this is footage that was left over from the Vision stuff, or recent footage, or stuff that I filmed. Some stuff has actually some meaning, some doesn't. And then there's visuals from Sphinx and Eagle. And also just lots of wanky special effects because I had discovered a new special effects tool, plugin, that I thought would be fun to fuck with, and so we just wanked all over the visuals here, like that right there. Same for that. Some people know what this is. They called it. Except they said it was Wildwood, New Jersey. It's not. How you decide the order of tracks when making an album? Usually we know the first and last song. Oh, Space Pigeon. I'm a big fan of Space Pigeon. I had to. This song, meaning-wise, I'll just say, is not simply just about the dreams that, like, you have when you sleep. But that's all I'll say. And it does tie into Visions and Afterthoughts, the first song and the concept. I had a lot of difficulty with the lyrics on this one, but when I figured it out, it was like, got it. And I was happy with how it turned out. So, this one was a home demo, and I will say this one is one of the older songs from this project, and one of the first ones we worked on, and it ended up being the last song on the album, but also one of the last songs we recorded anything for, which is the 12-string doing the descending arpeggio. The da-na-na-na-na-na-na. So that's like one of the last things we recorded for this entire album, so it's fitting in a weird way. And this one is kind of, in some ways, I like that there's a tempo shift, but also there's some 60s psychedelia shit going on here too that we tried to lean into a little bit. Loud buzz on my left ear on this song. Yeah, we've heard that. Do you really hear it? Because the problem is, when you get older, you hear less that hurt. It's like a dog whistle. How old are you people? It's there at points. Okay, so we've heard this, and the problem is, the older you get, the less you perceive certain frequencies. So, for example, my limit is like in the 16, 17K range, and I can just barely perceive it. And usually I can catch these things, but I actually genuinely do not hear it. At some point we're going to throw it in and like take a look at the waveform and see if it's there. I believe you, chat members, but I just don't hear it. I mean, I hear my own tinnitus right now. 27, I can hear it. 27, I can't really hear it. The most I'd be able to do is re-upload it on Bandcamp and maybe on streaming. But even so, sorry if there's a really horrible noise there. We just did not notice it, and I still don't hear it. So, I'll see what I can do. But yeah, the video is going to be on YouTube. You can't replace, so you just have to live with it. But anyway, just to close out, yeah, I just thought it would be a good idea to reverse the thing because of the theme. and to bring back the birds flying into the sunset. And it's nice. This shot of the water ended up being one of my favorite shots, going from color to black and white again. So, whether or not it works, I'm not sure, but I liked it. That kind of goes into the point of why I'm here, which is the cover. Anyway, yeah, thank you for listening to the track by track. I actually did a lot more than I expected, but I hope it didn't. I hope it only added and didn't subtract. But when you work on a thing for like 2.5 years and then you release it, it's like, well, fuck, what now? And that's where I'm at right now. Like, I kind of don't know what to do. We have the 7 other songs, and we listen to them, and they're pretty damn good. I like them. It's just they belong on a different album. And we have some new stuff that we already started on, and we're just going to be playing together and jamming and seeing what happens. So, like, there's stuff to do, but 2.5 years for one project, which, as I said before, you can listen to this album on its own. You can listen with Visions. You can listen to both together. You can start with Afterthoughts and then go to Visions. Like, I think it works however you want to listen. And I think some of the songs work fine on their own too. And overall, I do think that this is some of my favorite stuff we've done. And I'm, always looking forward to the next project. But I'm happy people liked it and supported it. And we don't have, like I said, we don't have a label. I end up doing a lot of the stuff, and I have some help here and there, and I have an advisor that does. I send him the songs, and he'll push them through to streaming services, and I'll say, hey, can you do this for the vinyl? And he's great, and he doesn't take a lot of money. Like, it's not a contract. It's just like, small percentage, and he helps. That's the dude from Many Hats. But it still is tough, and like, I have to figure out how to like get the word out if we're going to do any PR, which we do a little bit, but not a ton. So in a way, like, the word of mouth, people have been, telling people about our music has been really helpful. And a lot of you have actively helped us kind of reach beyond just like, novelty streamer band. And we're kind of in that realm right now where it's like, there's actually some buzz around us, which is cool. But even if there isn't, and even if we never go beyond what we're doing now, which is to say, just releasing albums online and doing like videos here and there, doing a premiere, like, even if this is as much as Red Vox will ever achieve, I'm still happy to push, myself, and also to work on new songs, because it's therapy. It's good for me. It's fun. And it's something that I've wanted to do since I was 18. And that's half my life ago. So it's just, yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about. But yeah. So listen, chat. From here on, though, the next step is, so obviously we have new songs. We have the other songs that were recorded during the sessions, and we're going to figure out what to do with them. As I said, those could maybe be on a brand new album if they fit. Those could maybe be on an EP, which I'm not looking to do. I'm not sure. Some of them may make it to like a demo album or like a compilation. Who knows? I mean, it's just kind of one moment at a time. Some of the new stuff I'm really happy with too. I checked my song lists. Aside from the 7 that have been recorded, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13, 14. I have 20 new songs that have been written in between, like, I guess from the middle or start of Afterthoughts till now. And not all of them are good. Like I already showed the band a couple, and they liked some of them a lot, and some of them were like, "All right, this needs a lot more work." But yeah, I have stuff that could be cool, and I know that we'll just kind of take it one song at a time. That said, for the near future, what I want to do is get started on this vinyl. And essentially, it would be 20 songs, Visions and Afterthoughts together. The name of it would be Visions and Afterthoughts. And normally, I would like to just surprise everyone, and just say, hey, here it is, everybody. Here's the vinyl. Now, listen, with record plants being as they are, vinyl demand being as it is, we're looking at like a late this year or early next year release. There's just no way around that. So sadly, I cannot really surprise you because it's just going to take forever. That said, though, I was working with Amoral Crow, and we have a lot of really great like incidental art, and I think the cover is the real problem for me right now, and that's why I'm here. I asked people, and I went on. I talked to the band, and I spoke to the people who do the videos, Zot, Sphinx, and Eagle, and some friends. And the truth is, I have not particularly felt any closer to reaching something I felt good about. The initial intent, chat, and again, I'm just letting you behind the curtains on this one because I've never done this really before. I've never crowdsourced a cover. After Realign, we had this elaborate cover that was like extremely detailed, and I think Realign's a really great cover. Most of you know how it started, but then Crow put a lot of work into it, going over every little detail, adding stuff, discovering meaning, and being something that is both kind of artificial and real, which to me is what the album is about on some level anyway. So I really love that cover, but for me, I think in the idea of like color schemes, we did red, we did all these colors, and I wanted to go simple, like the Black Album or the White Album. We did these elaborate things. Let's go just black and white. And so the cover for Visions and the cover for Afterthoughts was not supposed to be anything complex. It was just like a weird blob of a shape, and fill in the blanks in your mind, black and white, simple. Like, you could even say it was an afterthought. But I think they work pretty well, but they're not anything special on purpose. That said, originally my idea was this, and this is where maybe you can help. I don't know how you can help, but maybe you can. So originally my idea was just combine the two, and I tried a number of things. And it's just one photo, and I'm still not going to tell you necessarily what the photo is, but it's just one photo of something barely perceptible. And maybe like a year and a half ago, this is what I came up with for the double. Now, I'll be honest, I don't love it. I think it's okay. I think it would work. The thing is, though, here's what I would do. For the vinyl, it would just be this. Right? Now that looks a little bit better to me. It's just, a simple kind of thing. There's no border, no text. That's okay. But I still wasn't crazy about it. And even though it is a combination of the two covers, to me, it's just fine. And I think that the covers work better on their own anyway. And then Crow and I spoke, and we came up with one that is, I think, better, and I like this one a lot better. Yeah, the Nine Inch Nails influence is definitely intentional. Like, I like that it's just a mood of, you know, good luck trying. Don't interpret it because there's nothing to interpret. It's just you just get a feeling from it. So I like that. But I also like this one. This was the one that Crow came up with. And I like this one way better. And I can see even chat has like some better reactions to this. So if this ended up being the cover to the double and this was just a vinyl that would sit on your shelf, I think that would be great. I'd be very happy with it. You know, or like if you see that on like Spotify or something as a small icon, I think it works. So that's probably the runner-up. And I do think that the I could add like I actually tried adding some details. This is a little too bright. I would take it back, but you know, there's ways to just kind of give it a little bit more depth. Again, it's so difficult because it's hard to know when a thing is supposed to just be a feeling and not a specific thing. You know, I want to stick with the intent, but yeah, I would get rid of the border. There wouldn't be a border. But there's definitely something to this. And I think this is the best version otherwise. Now, we also went through some ideas with hang on, that's not it. Wait, how do I get rid of this? Email me if you know how to get rid of this. Okay, cool. We also went through some ideas of adding like red to the cover. These folders are taking forever to load. Hang on. So there's going to be like some of the stuff that Crow came up with and that I came up with are going to definitely be, you know, used in some form. But we tried a couple different things like this, you know, because the color scheme was supposed to be black, white, and red. But the band and I kind of agreed, like, no, that's not really working for us. So that's why the one that I showed you before is probably the best one. However, I was making dinner the other day and I thought about a potential cover, and I want to get your opinion on this, chat. And thinking purely as like, how would this look on a record? It's an image from one of the videos that I stumbled upon by accident. Now, I know people love their concentric circles because it's part of the theme. So this has that. Right? The reason I like this is because it's the dude falling. Someone said that's good, but you can do better. And there's other people that say they like it. Well, I think it needs a little more to it. Well, that's the thing. I kind of like the Pink Floyd aspect of this. There's a thing that immediately draws me to it, which is that it's just kind of simple. You know, that's the person falling, which you don't even know it's that if you're just looking at it. You know, and I have different versions of it, and I was gonna like toy around with it as well. So I think even if we don't use this as a cover, we could use this somewhere. Take out all the colors except red. I've considered that too, but there's a part of me that thinks how cool would it be to have this as just like a thing on a shelf where it's like this, your eye is drawn to it. And I actually had a couple people suggest, even before I had the idea, like in the comments, like, oh, that would make a good cover. It's too close to kerosene. Yeah, I mean, maybe it is too close. Maybe that's kind of okay because one's orange and one's this. Try making it black and white and superimpose the angled lines from the other one. Well, the reason I'm bringing this to you, chat, people who watch and listen, is there is something, even Crow is not really sure about this, but then some of the band likes this, and it's like a split down the middle, everyone I ask, and there is something to this of like, here's just this kind of person falling, and there is a symbolic meaning to this, which that's a very specific, let's just say that this is put over a very specific part in the song and very specific lyrics. And I do think that there is something to that. But while I was making dinner, I was like, oh shit, that would be really nice. And it does, to me, it looks good as just a kind of, you know, you have the circles on the other albums, and here's our last, maybe, you know, the big circle album. I'm not sure. So, first I want to just show you the options. I'm open to ideas because I want this to it's either one of two things. It either looks great on your shelf with this, you know, kind of rainbow thing, which I do think it would look good. It could use some more work, and I can definitely work on it to get it a little bit better. And it, you know, kind of has this, like, Dark Side of the Moon thing that just draws you to the center of it. Do I want more midis? I'll just play whatever from here. So yeah, I mean, it's tough to figure out, and also the problem with the colors is that it doesn't really fit the theme of white, black, and red, but there's something about that I like too, which is just, it's so different, and then the covers are, you know, the other covers are inside the vinyl. So I ask you, if there's anyone that has like a brilliant idea that wants to let me know or explain their case, redvoxband@gmail.com. You can email there. If you have any mock-ups or whatever, I'm open to them. Do not just do free work if you really, really do not want to. Unless it's like an astoundingly good idea, I would, you know, then say, hey, let's work together. But I just don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Again, my original concept was, it's amorphous. There's nothing. It's just black and white. It's the White Album. But even that in and of itself is kind of fucking pretentious. So I don't really have I don't have a good solution to this. And I see a lot, like, there's too much in chat to just read. Vinny, do half visions, half afterthoughts. I saw a mock-up of that, and that didn't look great either. So... yeah. How about the birds from the beginning and end? I don't know. So, overlay them on top of each other. Not really. It's like I think they're too disparate. But yeah, it's all of you that are going to be buying this thing, and not a terrible idea, but I mean, that looks, it's just too busy. It's just too busy. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely a debate to be had, and I appreciate everyone's input. That's why I'm here. I do think that there is something to be said for just keeping it simple and combining the two. I think Crow had a good point about the one that he made, which is this one, but I just don't know how I feel about it anymore, because I've lost the thread, essentially. I'm overthinking it and underthinking it both at the same time, and I do need, I just needed to, like, think the process out loud in front of people, maybe. Just write visions and afterthoughts in marker. Yeah. There's a lot of corruption and data moshing in the videos. Maybe make the cover look a little altered too. Yeah, I mean, there's potential for that too, but I guess I'll know it when I see it, and I don't think I've seen it yet. And the falling person was at least the most striking image, and there is something about the simplicity and the circles and, like, the Again, the idea being, here's this person falling into like a void, and that does tie into the concept really nicely, but also the reason I like Pink Floyd covers so much is it's just concept and simple, generally. It's like, there's the one thing, and it means that, and it looks good. Or the Nine Inch Nails approach, which is just colors and light. So, here, let me see if I can make a quick poll. I don't think this will help too much, but I'm going to make a quick poll. Ultimately, it's going to be my decision for anyone, like, thinking I'm crowdsourcing an album cover. Like, the suggestions are good. I like to get the thoughts of the people who have been here since the beginning. And I do think that you all are very valuable to this band. But I still have to be the one who's, you know, happy with it. Can you not make a poll for a channel that's not, what is it? You can? No? Affiliate, yeah. Hang on, let me make a straw poll. Let me just collect a quick couple thoughts. Listen, I'll even show you, you know, here's a couple other things. Like, again, the idea was, here's this one image, and what can be done with one image by layering it. And I know some of these people are going to be like, oh, that's awesome. But, you know, there's just so many different things. And yeah, there are chat members who are saying it's like kerosene again. And, you know, we're not going to be doing this big elaborate art piece like Realign, but here, let me do a quick poll. Simplicity is kind of the main thing for this project. I say that, but these songs are far from simple. I will say that the stripped down approach that we thought of for Visions did not apply to Afterthoughts. And there's a lot of textures on Afterthoughts, so while the art could be simple and just a black and white thing, I don't think we quite like this is actually, to me, I do like this one quite a bit, but I'm not sure it really activated my neurons in a way that I wanted it to. Okay. So I made a straw poll. See what you think. This is going to be split down the middle, isn't it? Can we see the options on screen? Yeah. I mean, the falling person, there are several. Like, there's different perspectives. So, like, there's one far away, there's one up close, and I can, you know, obviously edit this to make it however. But again, if you're buying this and you want this on your shelf, just like I'm, you know, spending the money on this and want it to be right, I kind of, at this point, I just said, fuck it, let me ask the people who actually buy the records. It is pretty much split down the middle. The black and white... One side Vision, one side Afterthoughts. Well, consider this, chat member. Someone just mocked that up real quick. Which I don't... it's neat, but I don't know if it's, I don't know if it's, like, the cover or anything like that. It's just, there's a potential here. Here's what I would say. Wait, what was I saying, actually? I kind of lost my train of thought just now. It's gone. Wow, it's gone, totally. Oh, right. One side Visions, one side Afterthoughts. When you open the vinyl, here's what's gonna happen. The sleeve where Visions will have the Visions cover. The sleeve where Afterthoughts will be the Afterthoughts cover. And one vinyl will be black and white, like black with some white in it. The other one will be white with some black in it. So it'll be similar to that concept. And in the gatefold is going to be a bunch of different perspectives of that piece of that photo that Crow made. So it's going to be like a lot of different stuff with the lyrics in front of it. That's my current thought. So so the poll is 44% for black and white, 41% for falling person, and 14% for not yet found. So, you know, it's real close. Yeah, too much. Too much. Someone said, I think the falling one needs to be black and white. I mean, we could... Let's see. I mean, that's not bad. It's not bad, it's not great. Kind of looks like a V. Someone said, I don't like the circles, honestly. And that's the thing, there are people that want the circles and look for them. Just because, so the original concept of the circles and the concentric circles was that vox, the word like vocals or like sound waves, are the circles. So we've done that on pretty much every album. But I also don't think we need to do it. There's a part of me that just wanted to like reject the circles entirely for this album. And I have no problem doing that if it's worth it. But, you know. Vox also rhymes with box, which is square. Sphinx, did you just wake up? No, you didn't. You've been here for a little bit. Hi, Sphinx. But yeah, I decided let me outsource opinions on this. I'm still open to suggestions. Here's one. I mean, maybe there's an angle that hasn't been discovered yet, or maybe there's a persuasive argument to just go for this, or maybe there's someone that has a vision that maybe there's a reason that I'm actually doing this and live right now. Because if, and again, it took a lot of thought to actually go live for this, and I wasn't going to do it. I didn't want to spoil the cover, and I didn't want to necessarily appear like I didn't know what I was doing, but the truth is I don't. I don't know what I'm doing. I just am, sometimes I find it as I go. I'm as human as anyone else, and I try to do the best I can for the music, but I guess first and foremost, I make the music and the art is second. So I feel like there's a lot of talented visual artists in this community and people that watch. Usually, sometimes people that listen and are like really into the music may have their own ideas. So again, no one cover is going to make everyone happy. And remember this. Last thing I'll say about it is this. There are covers of albums that I didn't like, but then you live with it, and it starts to represent the thing that you like, and you kind of can't separate them. There's some aspect of art that grows with the thing, and you don't necessarily have to love something for it to just be what the thing is. So, you know, do you think I want to see the cover of Nevermind? Like, no, I don't want that shit on my shelf. However, it is a good cover. You know, it's a legendary cover. It's the blue represents Nevermind very well to me, and the concept of the baby chasing money. It's like, yeah, that's pretty brilliant in its own weird way. I just hate it, but I get what you know, what the intent was, and clearly the album sold millions. So, but yeah, you do get used to covers and you start to understand them. And even if it is just a weird black and white cover that looks like nothing, eventually that will kind of associate the thing in your mind. And like I said, I'm leaning towards black and white. Me and Sphinx talked about it too, and I think we have, you know, he was like, yeah, maybe more the black and white thing. And if that's the color scheme we're going for, I'm cool with that. But I figured, here, let me open the forum and see what everyone thinks. Sure, the poll is split. But again, redvoxband@gmail.com if you have a brilliant idea, if you have something for me to consider. And at some point, maybe I'll collect them and then go live again. Listen, we're in no rush. The vinyl's not going to be made until like the end of the year anyway, even if we started today. So let's get this right. Normally, I would just say, here, let me get this right with the people that I work with. But the truth is, I'm at a loss. So thank you for your help. And thank you for being here. And yeah, I hope the information was helpful on the songs. And once again, this band would not be where it is without you. Like, especially the people that are here right now that are actually like listening to me ramble for an hour and a half. I don't know how you did it, but I appreciate it. Even though we're not really like a famous rock band or anything, we sell vinyl. We may not sell it in great numbers, but we do, you know, they're expensive to make, but I do make my money back. That's pretty cool. That, and, you know, I can afford an amplifier once in a while, which is nice. So I appreciate it. And I know the whole band does too, especially for a premiere. Everyone was so kind, whether or not you loved the album. At the very least, your enthusiasm is infectious. So we'll just keep doing it. And just speaking personally as the mess that writes the songs, I will say that your interest makes me want to push myself to write more and to be as honest as possible about, you know, with my songs. So I'll keep trying that. And I guess that's it. So yeah, if you have any ideas, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just go fuck myself. All right. Well, see you, everyone. Oh, last thing is I'll be at PAX and I will have some Realign and Another Light records there to buy on site at PAX, and I will sign them if you're there. So, yeah, that will be happening. Just to be aware of that. Okay, I'll go now. Goodbye, everyone. See ya.